Ladies and gentlemen, boy, oh boy, do we have some big news to share about a game that I feel like nobody cares about anymore. But maybe they will after this announcement on the newest developer radio for Honkai Star Rail. System optimization and a challenging new endgame mode preview. Oh boy. I don't think a lot of people have a lot of faith in new endgames coming out from this company after we've all experienced the absolute disaster that is Stygian Onslaught, a game mode where if you don't C6 multiple characters, you have no chance of actually completing it and no chance of actually going through and getting all of its rewards. And it looks like Honkai Star Rail is coming out with a version of that today. They're announcing it today and it's going to come out later. And what I wanted to do was actually take some time to break down all of the intricacies when it comes to Honkai Star Rail's balance, what this problem is going to pose for likely a lot of players, and why if you're returning, right? If you're a returning player specifically, somebody that might have quit in 2.0 or the start of 3.0, you want to stay away from this like Ant from fucking... Okay, I'm out of analogies this morning. Let's just forget that one didn't happen. Let's get right on into it. All right, so a brand new volume of the developer radio is here. Come check out all of the latest updates, system updates and improvements. All right, nobody cares about these. These just sound like boring shit. Lineup strategy guide now available. I don't care. Sure, we're gonna get more AI-fed slap that's gonna tell us to run the wrong teams. Awesome. Now let's get into the actual exciting part about this announcement. The new challenging game modes preview. For Trailblazers looking to test their limits, a new trial stage is on the way. Anomaly arbitration. That sounds like almost the same thing as Stygian Onslaught. This permanent high difficulty mode is expected to go live in version 3.6. It's 2 updates from now, and we'll receive regular content updates over time. Yep, sounds just like Stygian Onslaught. Once Trailblazers have achieved a full star records in Stage 12 of Memory of Chaos, Stage 4 of Pure Fiction, and Apocalyptic Shadows at Difficulty 4, I think that those are considered the max difficulty modes, the new challenge mode will be unlocked. Prepare for a showdown against formidable foes. Anomaly arbitration consists of 3 trial stages and 1 final stage. Trailblazers must form 3 separate teams to take on the trial stages. After completing them, Trailblazers will be able to assemble any characters into a team to challenge the even more challenging final stage. So, as we can see over here, this sounds like Stygian Onslaught with some additional steps. You gotta go in, you gotta prep 3 different teams, and let me just see if I can pull up the Stygian Onslaught menu so I can, like, actually tell you guys, right, why this game mode is such a massive issue. So, a lot of people might not be familiar with Stygian Onslaught because they've quit Genshin Impact, but one of the big dynamics about it is the fact that when you're going against certain enemies, you can see the bosses over here that were in the most recent version, or the first version of this game mode in Genshin Impact. These bosses are literally not completable. They're not fightable unless you have specific units that are tailored around dealing with their gimmick. Think, for example, of that boss, right? Pollux from HSR. Y'all remember this thing in the MOC where it was an absolute complete disaster? Y'all remember this thing where it was an absolute disaster unless you had Casterus on your team, where the enemy would gain weaknesses, become a lot easier to kill based on the HP change of your team, which Casterus does a shit ton of? Yeah, you remember this guy? I bet he's gonna be one of the bosses in this game mode. I bet this is gonna be one of those bosses where it's like, hey, you tried it without Casterus? Actually, go fuck yourself. Much like how, for these previous stages over here, oh, you tried this Tulpa without Silali Mavawika? Go fuck yourself. You tried this Lava Golem without Emily and Kanish? Go fuck yourself again. You tried this guy without Skirk and Escoffier? Well, you probably guessed what the answer is to that one. I just won't even bother to say it. So the thing is that this new game mode, right, is not inspiring a lot of confidence in me at all. The 3 separate teams dynamic basically ensures that A, need to be pulling all of the newest limited units, and B, you gotta ensure that those teams are really well built, because this is a turn-based game as well. It's a turn-based game where you can't choose who gets attacked, you can't choose who dodges, and you know what that means? You're going from 8 people teams, right? 8 people lineups to 12. And that, when you consider the rampant power creep in this game, is a big fucking issue. So let's hear about some of the rewards and then dive into some more of my actual concerns with what's going on. In this gameplay, Trailblazers will have the chance to obtain special leveling items, limited time avatar frames, and redeemable cosmetic rewards, and more. Yeah. Y'all see what this is literally exactly like, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, it's literally just the weapon skins from Stygian Onslaught. It's probably just going to be this all over again. And to unlock this, by the way, guys, it's a limited time thing, and you have to have C6 characters. You have to. You must. And they have to be the newest units that have been released. Those ones have to be C6. Not like your C6 Hu Tao, not like your C6 Nouvelette. Those aren't enough. You need the newest ones. And when you've seen the smashing success that Stygian Onslaught has been, i.e. they've not changed anything at all, so Hoyo probably bets it's right, I think they're going to use the same exact format for this, because this is a game that's even more predatory than Genshin Impact. And now let's talk about some of the concerns some CCs in the space are having with it. We actually got Brax, and I guess he's an ex-HSR CC, diving in, getting some hate, because he expressed this one statement about the new endgame mode. New HSR endgame announced. Requires 3 teams. We need more 4 stars or this is cooked for free-to-play players. And apparently, he got yelled at by Hoyoshills. And this is the response. Why the fuck am I getting backlash for wanting the game to be more free-to-play friendly? Well, this is the thing, Mr. Baraxophone. I've got a bone to pick with your reply as well. I've got a bone to pick with what you're saying too, because I don't actually think that your solution makes very much sense at all. I don't actually think that adding more 4 stars, more affordable units, all of that is even the issue with this game. You want to know why? Because you need 3 teams in this new endgame mode, right? You need 12 characters. Y'all want to see how many characters there are in this game? Let's just count them off. 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, 17, 19, 22, 27, 33, 37, 38, 42, 44, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 56, 58, 60, 62, 64, 65, 66, 73, 74. There's 78 characters in the game! There's 78 characters in this game. I might have double counted them, right? If they show up in different categories. I don't give a shit. It's above 70. It shouldn't be at the point when our roster is 70 plus characters that defining 12 of them is this hard. To the point where we need to ask for more units. How about we just look at the balancing situation of this absolutely nightmarish game and look at how many units are unusable because of the rampant power creep that these developers have a fetish for putting in the fucking game, bro. Literally, nobody released, unless you're released in the past year, or got buffs, you may as well not even exist on this lit. Like, you might as well not even be you're a niche character. Unless you were released in the past year or got ridiculous buffs, you're a niche character. And look over here at how many units there are in the niche category. What's more 4 stars gonna do, Brax? They're just gonna fuck them up like they've been fucking up the game for the past 6-7 years. Or sorry, 6-7 months. It hasn't been that long. Though it does feel like it, with how nothing has happened in this game. This isn't even a thing, right? You can hopefully tell I'm not even mad at Brax. I'm more so mad at the developers for putting the game in a state where people don't even think about using half of the active roster. All they can think about is that, yes, you need one of these new units. You need some of the broken picks to have any chance at all of completing the content, of completing the end game. You've got to go ahead and you have to clear full stars on all of these. And we've seen how absurdly ridiculous the HP inflation in these game modes have gotten. We've seen how absurdly ridiculous some of the enemy designs are, where they're mandating that you have certain types of unit. Constant AoE for the Dark Knight guy that summons clones of himself. Repeated hits, a massive number of attacks within one cycle for the Nicador boss that Aglaya absolutely takes a dumpy on. There's going to be so many character-specific bosses that are coming out in this game mode where if you don't have the specialized unit that's meant to deal with them, I don't think you're going to be able to complete it. You might as well just go fuck yourself. And then you got the evidence of it all happening right here, where these game modes literally are one of the worst experiences you can have in Genshin Impact if you don't have the right unit that is specifically designed to fight these. And you already know it's happened in HSR. Just look at Pollux, look at Nicador, look at all of those other bosses that have been released, and look how much they shill people that have been released in the past 6 years. It is such a sad time to be an HSR player. It is such a sad time that we're in the spot where we don't even think about 30, 40, 50 units on the roster. We only think about the last 20 that have been released and maybe 3 or 4 that have aged pretty good with time. And all of these other units, they're just invalids. They're just invalids. They're just unnecessary. There's no point in even thinking about bringing them. And that's how awful it is to think about slotting in 12 team slots in Honkai Star Rail. That's how awful it is thinking about just making 3 teams, even though the game has over 70 units available. Because these guys have no idea how to balance the game. These guys have no idea how to sell characters without just making them deal more damage, have better buffs, just do everything better than all of the old ones that have been released before. And you all know what the people are going to say about this?
Oh, well, they buffed some units. Look, they buffed Blade. They buffed her, Silver Wolf. They buffed Kafka and Jing Lu. They buffed them all, look.
You all know how long it took these guys to buff 4 characters on the roster of 70? 6 months. They announced buffs. 6 to 7 months later, they buffed 4 units on the roster. Guys, we all know with that pace, how long it would take to buff all these other units? You all know how long it would take? That's 6 months for 4 units. There are about 40 in here. It would take about 5 years for them to buff 40 units at that pace. And believe me, there are more than 40 units that need help. Brother, what are we doing here? People should be raising pitchforks. People should be demanding these devs get off their lazy, paycheck-stealing asses, design kits properly, start making a universal buff, like a systems upgrade for like an entire class of like second class characters that were released a year ago, 2 years ago, and have fallen to the wayside and are never used in any content imaginable. It's absurd how far this game has fallen. It is absurd that there's anyone even getting slightly excited about this, because this sounds like a fucking nightmare, especially knowing the past nightmare that Hoyoverse players have just been exposed to when it comes to the dog shit design of Stygian Onslaught. And this literally sounds like a copy paste with even more bullshit added to the end. Yes, I think this game mode is going to be fun for a couple of people. I think this game mode is going to be fun if you pulled every single unit in the past 6 months. I think this game mode is going to be great if you spend thousands of dollars on this game. I'm glad that whales have something to do, but unfortunately, this game is now turning into one where it's only whales that are going to be able to do anything. And I think that's the only type of player that's left in Honkai Star Rail. I think everyone else has honestly quit after the anniversary, global passives, 2 spending events in 2 updates. Sorry, 2 spending events in 3 updates, and they're probably just tired of getting nickel and dimes. I don't think there are any free-to-play players for this game anymore. I don't think that there's anybody that actually like looks at this and they're like, yeah, I'm not gonna spend money and I'm still gonna play. Otherwise, you're just like some casual Andy that like does the story to go to sleep every night, because you know that Amphorius is better than fucking NyQuil, better than Benadryl. For getting a good night's sleep. So yeah, that'll be that. You can probably tell. Maybe we'll give it a try. I don't think that my account, because I haven't been keeping up. I haven't been keeping up with the meta. I pulled like 2 of these characters. My account's probably not gonna be able to clear it. Even with incredible relic investment, incredible invested units, all the old ones, right, that I have on here, incredibly well built, they're not gonna be enough. Because it's never enough. Because the goal of this company is to always make you pay to have any level of enjoyment at all, unless you're going to engage with it in the most casual way possible. And that's the type of game Honkai Star Rail is. Pay to play unless you do anything except the story. The story is the only free-to-play part about this game, and the story is dog shit. So it's pay to enjoy the game at all. That'll be that. Let me know what you all thought about this upcoming disaster. Can't wait to see how many people love this one, and peace out.